Lily Carter ran through the crowded streets of Vela Prime. She was only 15, but she moved fast, dodging vendors and workers who shouted and waved as she passed. The city was alive with the sound of machines, chatter, and distant starship engines. She clutched a small package close to her chest, something she knew the Galactic Council would want. It was nothing dangerous, just data files that her father, Ethan Carter, had given her to deliver to a friend. But in the eyes of the Council, even an innocent human girl could be a threat. Lily ducked into an alley, breathing hard. She had always been careful, but something about today felt different. The Council's enforcers were always near, watching, but today, she felt their eyes everywhere. She didn't know why. Then she heard the soft hum of energy shields activating, and a heavy voice boomed behind her. "Lily Carter, step away from the wall." She froze. Two enforcers, tall and clad in black exosuits, walked into the alley. Their visors glowed with red light. One of them extended a hand. "Come with us. You are under arrest for espionage and illegal interference." Lily's heart sank. I didn't do anything," she cried. "I was just delivering files." The enforcer tilted his head, almost like he was listening to a thought. "All humans are under suspicion. You will come quietly." Before she could respond, the enforcers grabbed her. She struggled, but they were strong, far stronger than any human her age. They lifted her off the ground and carried her out to the main street. People stopped and stared, but no one interfered. Everyone had learned to fear the Council. Across the city, Ethan Carter was working on the orbital docks. His job was to maintain the engines of trade ships that moved between stars. He heard a comm alert chime in his office and frowned. The monitor showed the Council's public broadcast feed. His stomach twisted when he saw the live feed. Lily, his daughter, surrounded by the Council's enforcers, standing on a raised platform in the center of Vela Prime. He ran to the lift. "No, this can't be happening," he muttered. He pressed the call button frantically. The lift jolted, then shot upward. His mind raced. He had to get there to stop them. But when he reached the Council's outpost gates, a force field blocked him. Guards outside refused him entry. "This is Council business. Humans are not allowed inside," one said. Ethan slammed his fists against the barrier. "She's my daughter." "She's just a child." The guard shook his head. "Orders are orders." Hours passed. Ethan pleaded, but the Council did not listen. Then he saw it. On the central broadcast, Lily was executed. It was clean, precise, and horrifying. She did not cry. She looked at the crowd once, her eyes wide and scared, and then she was gone. The city erupted in silence, then confusion. Humans on Vela Prime could not understand why the Council would kill a child in public. Alien spectators seemed calm, but fear glimmered in their eyes. Across the galaxy, transmissions carried the image of Lily's death to Earth. People everywhere were stunned. Shock turned into anger. In Washington, the United Earth Command convened immediately. Admiral Laura Pierce sat at the head of a long table. Her face was stern, but her eyes were filled with rage. "They've executed a child. Not a spy, not a rebel, a child. Humanity will not forgive this." A representative from Earth's diplomatic corps spoke, voice trembling. "We should send an official complaint." "We should negotiate," Pierce shook her head. "They do not negotiate. They do not care. Lily Carter's death is proof. They think they can humiliate us without consequence. We will show them they are wrong." Meanwhile, Ethan Carter returned to his small apartment. He could not sit still. He stared at the empty space where his daughter's chair had been. He felt hollow, angry, and powerless, but he could not give up. Somewhere deep inside, a thought began to form. Humans had survived worse. Humans had been underestimated countless times in history. If the Council thought they could treat humanity like that, they were about to learn their first mistake. The days after Lily's death were tense. Earth sent no fleets, no warnings, no threats. To the galaxy, it seemed that humanity would simply mourn quietly. But beneath the surface, humanity was moving. Massive shipyards that had once produced peaceful cargo ships were busy again, building new vessels, new weapons. Scientists worked day and night, creating machines the galaxy had never seen. In a hidden facility, Ethan was recruited by Admiral Pierce herself. He had been known as a skilled engineer, but now his skills were needed for a much darker purpose. "We are not just defending Earth," Pierce told him. "We are making sure humans are never helpless again. We are making sure no one else suffers like Lily did." Ethan nodded, his hands trembling. "I understand. I will help. The project was called Aegis Dawn. It was a secret program that combined human ingenuity, artificial intelligence, and new technologies that humans had developed in isolation. Its goal was not to conquer the galaxy, but to ensure that any world that dared harm humans would be powerless to do so again. Months passed. The Council continued its business, unaware of the storm brewing in human space. Aliens monitored Earth's silence. They expected fear, hesitation, or even a weak show of force. But Earth gave none. The human fleets vanished from normal trading lanes. Colonies went dark. Even Earth diplomats disappeared. The galaxy whispered about the human silence, calling it a sign of something terrible to come. Ethan worked tirelessly in Aegis Dawn, overseeing designs for ships, weapons, and defensive systems. He spent long nights staring at the plans, imagining the council officers who had laughed as Lily died. He knew they would not escape justice, but he also knew that humanity had to be careful. The council had power in numbers, but humans had something else: cunning, courage, and the refusal to be broken. One night, while reviewing star charts, Ethan received a communication. It was a message from an old friend in another colony. They are watching us closely. Any sudden moves could trigger a war before we are ready. Ethan read the message and felt a shiver. They were right. The galaxy underestimated humans. That had always been their mistake. And now, it would be the Council's greatest mistake. At home, Ethan sometimes stared at the stars, thinking of Lily. He remembered her laugh, her small hands, and her curiosity about everything. He whispered her name into the dark, hoping somehow she could hear him. "We will make it right, Lily, I promise." The Council continued its work, blind to what was happening. They believed humans were predictable, fearful, and obedient. They did not see the hidden factories, the fleets being built, or the minds being sharpened like blades. They did not see Ethan Carter, a broken father now fueled by the most dangerous force in the galaxy. Grief turned into purpose. Earth waited, silent and patient. Ships were tested, AI systems activated, and communication arrays prepared for a single coordinated strike. The humans were no longer just defenders of their planet. They were preparing to remind the galaxy why humans survived against all odds, why humans were never to be underestimated. And somewhere, deep in the Council's chambers, alien leaders laughed at the idea of human retaliation. "They have no power," one said. "They are just a small planet with outdated weapons," another nodded. "Even if they act, we will contain them." Ethan Carter heard their words in his mind as he worked late into the night. He smiled faintly, thinking of the Council's arrogance. It was that arrogance that would be their undoing. He had seen the galaxy underestimate humans before, and every time humanity had found a way to survive and to rise. The first part of the plan was simple: patience. Humans would wait for the right moment, and when they struck, it would be precise, devastating, and undeniable. Ethan knew the galaxy would remember Lily Carter, and they would remember humanity's strength. For Lily's death, for the innocents taken, and for the warning that humans never forgave easily. The stage was set. The silent storm of Earth had begun. Across the stars, no one yet knew what was coming. The Council believed it had won. Humanity knew it had only just begun. And in the heart of that silent storm, Ethan Carter whispered one last promise to the empty night sky. "For you, Lily, we will show them the true power of Earth." The silence from Earth was deafening. Across the galaxy, alien worlds waited, expecting a response to Lily Carter's death. They expected messages, threats, fleets moving, but nothing came. For weeks, the Council tried to communicate with Earth. They sent envoys, broadcast warnings, and even offered apologies. But all attempts failed. Every human channel was dark. It was as if Earth had disappeared. Inside the solar system, nothing looked unusual from the outside. Cities were still bright, ships still moved, satellites hummed softly. But beneath the surface, humanity was awake. Shipyards that had been dormant for decades suddenly roared with activity. Factories produced new vessels, advanced weapons, and machines that the galaxy had never imagined. Artificial intelligence systems, long in standby, were activated. Humans were preparing quietly, and the galaxy had no idea. Ethan Carter walked through the massive human shipyard on the moon. He had been given access to one of the most secret programs in Earth's history. Admiral Laura Pierce met him in the central control room. She was tall, her uniform sharp and precise, her eyes calm but fierce. "You're ready for the next phase," she said. Her voice was steady like a rock in a storm. "We've waited long enough. The galaxy will not see us coming until it is too late." Ethan nodded. "We've worked on the ships, the weapons, the AI, everything is ready. But it feels strange. We are acting like them now." Pierce smiled faintly. "We are not acting like them. We are protecting ourselves." Lily's death was not just an attack on a child. It was an attack on humanity. They will learn why humans survive when others underestimate them. Ethan looked out at the fleet in orbit. Hundreds of ships, sleek and fast, powered by new engines. Each one had weapons hidden, not obvious to the eye. AI systems coordinated the ships, ready to execute precise maneuvers across multiple star systems at the same time. The fleet was ready, but humanity waited. Patience was key. In the council's space, alien leaders began to whisper. They noticed human colonies going silent. Entire trade routes vanished. It was unusual, and fear crept into their minds. A scout fleet sent to check the colonies did not return. Panic spread slowly. The council had never feared humans before, but now, something was changing. Back on the moon, Ethan walked through a lab where human scientists were working on a new weapon. It was called the Memory Forge, a device that could erase systems, fleets, and even entire planets from digital and physical existence. It was not destructive in the usual sense. It erased things as if they had never been. Ethan ran his hand over the glowing control panel. "This is too much power," he whispered. Pierce came beside him. "Power is meaningless if it is not controlled. Humanity has the skill and the patience to use it correctly. We will strike only those who deserve it. The council killed a child. They will see what it means to underestimate humans." The months passed. Humans moved quietly but efficiently. Entire fleets were deployed to hidden locations near key council worlds. Advanced communication systems masked their movements. AI programs monitored the galaxy, predicting council reactions. Ethan and his team spent long hours adjusting systems, ensuring that every strike would be precise. Despite all this, some humans questioned the morality of their actions. Engineers, scientists, and military officers argued late at night. "We are becoming like them," one said. "We are killing before they can strike." Pierce addressed them simply. "We are not killing blindly. We are protecting ourselves. Humanity has been underestimated for centuries. This is the first time we will show the galaxy the true consequences." Ethan remembered Lily every day. Her laughter, her questions, her small hands. Her death had started this movement, but her memory now guided it. He often worked late into the night, staring at star charts, imagining the council officers who had laughed as she was executed. They would soon understand. One morning, Ethan received a personal message from Pierce. "We are moving to the next phase," it read. She gave instructions for the deployment of hidden fleets around strategic points. "The galaxy believes humans are silent. Let them believe it for now. Our first strike must be perfect." Ethan felt a mix of fear and excitement. Humans had survived attacks in the past, had faced impossible odds, and had won. Now they were about to show the galaxy that humanity's strength was not in numbers, but in cunning, patience, and unity. Across the galaxy, alien traders and colonists noticed the absence of human ships. Some believed humans were avoiding war. Others thought they were in disarray after Lily's death. None suspected the truth. Humans were preparing in secret, planning a retaliation that would leave the council unable to act. On Vela Prime, where Lily had been executed, whispers began to circulate. Humans had vanished from the streets. Council patrols reported empty colonies and missing trade stations. Panic spread in small increments. The council tried to reassure citizens, but fear was growing. Inside Aegis Dawn, Ethan studied the latest reports. Fleet positions, AI readiness, and weapon calibrations. Every detail mattered. He felt the weight of humanity on his shoulders. And he remembered Pierce's words. "We do this not for revenge alone, but to ensure no child is ever helpless again." In the council's chambers, alien leaders argued about humans. Some insisted on sending a message, others on immediate military action. "They are too quiet," one said. "We cannot see them, but something is happening." Their fear grew each day. Humans were known for patience and unpredictability. The council had ruled the galaxy for centuries, but the humans had something the council could not calculate: courage and the ability to act when others underestimated them. Ethan spent long nights walking in the labs, reviewing the designs of the memory forge and fleet movements. He thought about the first strike, How it would show the galaxy the cost of arrogance. He remembered Lily smiling as she ran through streets completely unaware of the danger around her. That memory gave him purpose. Admiral Pierce held daily meetings with the team. She explained strategy in simple terms. We will strike, but only when every piece is ready. The galaxy will not see us coming. We will not fire blindly. We will erase their ability to threaten humans again. The human AIs monitored every council system, every fleet movement, and every communication channel. They prepared for a strike that would disable military stations, patrol fleets, and even planetary defenses. The council thought they were safe, but they had never faced humans fully prepared. One day, Ethan was called to the control room. We have confirmation, Pierce said. The fleets are in position. The AIs are ready. The council will soon learn that humans are not defenseless. Ethan nodded. His hands shook slightly, not from fear, but from the realization that humanity was about to change the galaxy forever. He thought about Lily again, her bright eyes and her small hands. We will make them see, he whispered. As the sun rose over the earth, casting light on human cities, shipyards, and hidden fleets, Ethan realized that the long wait had prepared humanity for this moment. The galaxy had underestimated humans for centuries. They had thought humans were small, weak, and predictable. Now humans were silent, hidden, and ready. The council believed they had won by killing a child. But the humans had only begun, and when the time came, the galaxy would understand why humans survived against impossible odds, why they were feared not for their size or number, but for their courage, patience, and determination. Ethan Carter stood in the control room watching the stars. Across the galaxy, the council continued its routines, unaware that humans were waiting, calculating, preparing. The first strike would not be random. It would be precise, swift, and unforgettable for Lily, for humanity, for the warning that no one should ever underestimate Earth. And so, the silent storm continued to build, hidden from view. The galaxy watched, waiting for action that seemed never to come. But beneath the calm, humans prepared. Their ships moved silently. Their AIs coordinated everything. Their weapons were ready. And one day the galaxy would remember why humans were never to be taken lightly. Ethan returned to his quarters that night. He looked at a small photo of Lily, smiling with her messy hair and wide eyes. He whispered, "We are ready now. They will see what humans can do." Across the stars, nothing seemed to change. But deep inside human space, the gears of revenge, justice, and survival were turning. Humanity's silence was the deadliest thing the galaxy had ever encountered. The council would soon discover that killing a child was a mistake no one could undo. The galaxy was quiet, too quiet. For decades, the council had controlled the stars with their fleets, their spies, and their rules. No one dared challenge them. But now, the silence from Earth had unsettled even the bravest leaders. Humans were gone from the usual trade routes, missing from their colonies, and their diplomats had disappeared. Panic had begun to creep into the hearts of alien officials. On the council homeworld of Velthar, a massive chamber vibrated with tension. Alien leaders from different species argued loudly, their voices echoing through the hall. They have been silent for months, one said. Surely they are afraid. They cannot strike. Another, taller than the rest, shook his head. No, silence is not fear. It is patience. Humans are hiding something. We cannot see it, but it is coming. I can feel it. In orbit above Velthar, council patrol fleets scanned the outer systems. Thousands of ships moved in careful formations, ready for any trouble. And yet, despite all their preparation, scouts sent toward human colonies did not return. Fleets reported empty trade lanes. Even distant communication satellites went silent. Back in human space, Ethan Carter walked along the deck of a massive stealth cruiser. The vessel was hidden behind the asteroid belt near Mars, invisible to any outside detection. Hundreds of other ships were deployed similarly, forming a network across the solar system and nearby star systems. Admiral Laura Pierce met Ethan at the bridge. She pointed to a holographic map of council space. "The time is near," she said. "All fleets are in position. The AIs have coordinated every strike. We wait only for my signal." Ethan's eyes swept over the map. Star systems, patrol routes, and command stations were marked. The council believed their fleets and defenses were sufficient. They had no idea how precise humanity's attack would be. "Are we ready?" he asked. Pierce nodded. "We are more than ready. When this begins, the galaxy will see the power of a patient species underestimated for centuries." In the council's chamber, Tension grew. Alien leaders demanded answers. Why have humans disappeared? One asked. What are they planning? No one had an answer. The council had never faced humans acting so deliberately. They expected fear, panic, and submission. Instead, they faced calm, hidden preparation. It was impossible for them to understand. Then it began. Across council space, patrol fleets vanished. Not in battle, not in explosions, but simply gone. Command stations on several systems stopped transmitting. Communications flickered and failed. Entire fleets disappeared without warning. Panic spread. Alien officers stared at empty screens, unable to comprehend what was happening. Ethan watched it all from the bridge. The first strike was targeted, precise, and terrifying in its simplicity. The humans had used stealth technology and advanced AI coordination to erase patrols and communication nodes. Not a single ship fired a shot, yet the effect was devastating. Admiral Pierce's voice broke the silence. Phase 1 complete. The Council will realize they are blind before they know who struck them. In council chambers, alarms screamed. Alien leaders scrambled. Our fleets. They are gone, one shouted. How is this possible? Another leader looked pale, tentacles trembling. They have technology we cannot understand. They are everywhere and nowhere at once. Meanwhile, Ethan and his team monitored the system. The AI calculated council responses and predicted panic points. They adjusted fleet positions, prepared for counterattacks, and ensured humans remained invisible. Every move was controlled, precise, and devastating. Back on Velthar, a council commander tried to send a warning to nearby systems. His transmission failed. The human AI intercepted it, erased it, and replaced it with false data. Confusion and fear spread. The council's entire communication network began to crumble. Ethan's hands moved quickly over the control panels. He watched as fleets vanished from sectors they had believed safe. They won't know what hit them, he said softly. They will never see us coming. Pierce nodded. And that is the point. The galaxy has underestimated humans for too long. They thought killing a child would make us weak. They thought we would do nothing. Now they will learn what humans can do. Council fleets attempted to regroup. Small ships were sent to investigate missing fleets. Larger command ships tried to respond. But every action was predicted and countered. Humans struck with precision, erasing key points in the Council's defense without any warning. On one distant planet, Council officers watched as a command station vanished in a flash of light. The ground shook slightly and then nothing remained. It was as if the station had never existed. The officers fell to their knees, unable to comprehend the impossible. Ethan felt a strange mix of satisfaction and sadness. Satisfaction that humans were proving their strength. Sadness that it had come to this. He thought of Lily, her small hands and bright eyes. This was for her. Humanity was showing the galaxy that killing a human child was an unforgivable act. Pierce ordered Phase 2. Hidden human fleets moved closer to strategic worlds, positioning themselves for the next wave. AI programs monitored every council reaction, ensuring that humans remained invisible until the right moment. The council had no idea what was coming, only that their systems were failing and fear was spreading like wildfire. In the council's chambers, leaders argued and blamed each other. We cannot understand them, one said. They are ghosts in the stars. How can they strike without being seen? Another leader shouted, we must act. Attack Earth now. Pierce watched Ethan carefully. Let them panic, she said. Patience. They will make mistakes. We will strike when the moment is perfect. The galaxy will see humans for what they are. As night fell over Earth, human fleets waited in hidden positions across the solar system. Thousands of ships were ready. AI programs controlled millions of calculations in real time, predicting council movements and erasing threats before they could act. Ethan walked along the deck, looking at the stars. They cannot fight what they cannot see, he whispered. They cannot plan against something they do not understand. Pierce joined him. They believed they were in control. They believed humans were small and weak. They underestimated patience and precision. They underestimated the will to survive. For the first time in centuries, the galaxy feared humans. Not for their size, not for their numbers, but for their patience, cunning, and the quiet promise of retribution. Ethan thought of the first strike. It had been clean, efficient, and terrifying. No council officer could explain it. No fleet could counter it. The humans had shown the galaxy the cost of arrogance. Pierce turned to the fleet commanders. "Prepare for Phase 3, she said. "We will extend the strike. We will show them that killing a child is not without consequence." Across the stars, Council fleet scrambled. They attempted to regroup, to contact command stations, to organize defenses. Every move was predicted and erased before it could be executed. Panic spread from system to system. Ethan watched it all in silence. He thought of Lily. He thought of all the children in human colonies. He thought of the galaxy, unprepared, blind, and now afraid. Humanity had waited, planned, and struck. The first wave had begun. On Vela Prime, where Lily had lived, the alien population whispered in fear. Council enforcers vanished from the streets. Communication networks were down. Citizens could only watch as human precision reshaped the galaxy in silence. Ethan turned to Pierce one last time. "This is only the beginning," he said. Pierce smiled faintly. "Yes, the galaxy will remember the humans who were underestimated. The Council thought they had power. They were wrong. Very wrong." The stars shone quietly over Earth. From the surface, nothing seemed different. Ships moved, cities hummed, and life continued. But hidden in the shadows of space, humanity had begun its silent war. It was not a war of destruction for conquest. It was a war of justice, of memory, and of warning. Ethan stood at the bridge looking at the stars. The Council had thought they could humiliate humans, kill a child, and maintain control. They had not understood patience. They had not understood precision. They had not understood the consequences of underestimating humanity. And as human fleets moved silently across Council space, striking without warning, the galaxy began to realize a truth it could not ignore. Killing a human child was a mistake no species could survive unpunished. The galaxy was in chaos. The first wave of human strikes had already stunned the Council. Fleets vanished. Communication networks failed and entire command stations disappeared without a trace. The Council had no idea how to respond. Panic spread quickly, and fear filled the hearts of alien leaders. Ethan Carter stood on the deck of a massive human cruiser, watching the stars. The ships around him moved silently, precise and deadly, guided by advanced AI systems. "Phase 2 begins now," he said quietly, and the order was relayed to every vessel in the fleet. Admiral Laura Pierce addressed the commanders. "We strike the Council's key worlds next. These strikes will not only cripple their fleets, but also show them that humans will not tolerate injustice. Remember, precision is key. We do not destroy for pleasure. We erase threats." The human fleets moved like shadows. They emerged suddenly over Vela Prime, where Lily had been executed. The Council's command station there activated its shields, and patrols scrambled to respond. But it was too late. Human stealth ships had already entered orbit undetected. Ethan watched the operation unfold. He felt a strange calm, even as the fleets began their work. The AIs calculated the exact points to strike, ensuring minimal collateral damage to civilians. The humans were not killing blindly. They were erasing the systems that had harmed them. On Vela Prime, Council officers shouted orders, but their commands failed. Communications broke down, fleets vanished, and energy grids collapsed. The planet's main command center vanished in a blinding flash, leaving only empty space where it had once stood. Citizens watched in shock, unable to understand what had happened. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, human ships struck other key Council worlds. Military bases, intelligence hubs, and communication networks were erased with surgical precision. No explosions, no debris, just absence. Entire fleets disappeared, leaving the Council blind and helpless. Ethan felt a mix of satisfaction and sorrow. He thought of Lily, her bright eyes and curious smile. This was for her, for every innocent human who had suffered under the Council's rule. "They will remember why humans survive," he whispered. Admiral Pierce moved to his side. "They will, and they will never forget." The Council convened an emergency meeting on Velthar. Leaders shouted and argued, trying to find a solution. "Our fleets are gone." "How is this possible?" one demanded. Another answered, voice trembling. "It is not just fleets. Entire command structures, stations, and satellites, erased. We cannot even locate the attackers." Panic spread. The Council had relied on control, fear, and numbers. None of that worked against humans who were patient, precise, and invisible. Their arrogance had blinded them to human capability. Ethan and Pierce monitored the Council's reaction. Human AIs intercepted attempts to regroup and preempted any counterattacks. Every move the Council made was anticipated and neutralized. Humanity was not fighting for conquest. They were fighting for justice and survival. On one Council world, a commander tried to launch a retaliatory strike. He ordered his fleet to fire at a suspected human base. Moments later, the fleet vanished. The commander screamed in disbelief, unable to comprehend how his forces had simply disappeared. Ethan's voice echoed in the control room. They thought they could threaten us. They thought they could act with impunity. They will learn the cost of arrogance. Pierce nodded. Phase 3 will extend the strike to their central command systems. They will feel the full weight of humanity's response. The human fleets moved swiftly. They targeted the Council's central intelligence hub, erasing data archives, communication centers, and fleet coordination networks. The galaxy watched in shock as alien systems failed one by one. Panic turned into fear. Fear turned into desperation. Ethan walked along the cruiser's bridge watching the operations. They can't fight back, he said. They don't know where we are. They don't know what we are capable of, Pierce replied. And that is the point. We strike only to protect ourselves. They will not harm another child. They will not harm humanity again. Council leaders attempted to flee to other systems, but the humans were already there. Stealth ships appeared in orbit, erasing patrol fleets and command stations before the aliens could react. Entire worlds went dark, not destroyed but removed from the galaxy as if they had never existed. Ethan felt a wave of emotion. The first strike had been for demonstration, precise and controlled. The second strike was for justice, for showing the Council that humans would not forgive their cruelty. And the third strike would ensure the galaxy remembered the lesson. On Vela Prime, the planet where Lily had lived, human ships hovered silently. Citizens could only watch as the Council's enforcers vanished. Energy grids failed and the command center disappeared. No one could explain it. Fear and awe filled their hearts. Ethan turned to Pierce. We are erasing them from their power centers. Should we continue to other worlds? Pierce nodded. Yes, we move systematically. Every location that threatened humans will be neutralized. We will not harm civilians. Our focus is the Council and its enforcers. Humanity is not cruel. We are precise. The fleets moved, striking system after system. Council colonies, patrol fleets, intelligence centers all vanished. The galaxy began to understand that humans were no longer weak, no longer easy to control. Humanity's patience, intelligence, and courage had turned the tide. Back on Earth, news networks reported strange anomalies. Council planets going dark, fleets missing, and communications failing. Scientists and citizens watched in disbelief. Humanity's power had been hidden for so long, but now it was undeniable. Ethan's thoughts returned to Lily. He remembered her laugh, her small hands, her curiosity. Her death had been the spark, but the human response was greater than any one person. Humanity had shown that even when underestimated, they could rise and protect themselves with precision and unity. Pierce's voice cut through his thoughts. We are moving to Phase 4, she said. The Council's central command will be targeted next. This will be their final demonstration. They will see what happens when humans are pushed too far. Ethan nodded, steeling himself. The final strike would not be for revenge alone. It would be to ensure the galaxy never harmed humanity again. He thought of every human who had suffered under the Council's rule. Every child, every colony, every life. The strike would be precise, surgical, and final. As human fleets positioned themselves around the Council's home systems, alien leaders scrambled. They attempted to form alliances, to launch counterattacks, to flee. But humans anticipated every move. Fleets vanished before they could react. Communications failed. Central command systems were erased. Ethan watched as the first of the Council's command stations blinked out of existence. They will understand now, he said quietly. Pierce placed a hand on his shoulder. They will. Humanity has waited, planned, and acted with precision. The Council will remember this moment for the rest of its existence or what is left of it. The human strike continued, system after system. Council officers screamed in panic. Fleets vanished, command centers disappeared, and communication networks failed. The galaxy watched in disbelief. Humanity had not fired a single shot, yet the impact was absolute. Ethan felt a strange calm as he observed the operation. This was not war in the traditional sense. It was justice, precision, and warning. The council had underestimated humans for centuries. They thought killing a child would show dominance. They had no idea what they had triggered. Pierce addressed the fleet commanders. We move to final phase. The central command of the council will be erased. This is the core of their power. They believed they were untouchable. Humanity will prove otherwise. Ethan felt his heart tighten. This was it. The moment when humans would show the galaxy their full capability. The AIs coordinated every movement, every strike, every erasure. Nothing was left to chance. On Velthar, council leaders huddled in fear. Their fleets were gone, communication networks failed, and entire command stations had vanished. Panic turned into terror. They realized that humans were no longer predictable, no longer weak, and no longer afraid. Ethan Carter looked at the holographic map of council space. Targets had been erased, key worlds neutralized, and the galaxy's perception of humans had changed forever. He whispered, "For Lily? For humanity." Pierce nodded. "The lesson will be clear. Humans are not to be underestimated. We are patient. We are precise. We are strong." And in the silence of space, as human fleets moved invisibly across the galaxy, the Council learned the true cost of arrogance. The Council's central command hung in orbit over Velthar, a massive station filled with alien leaders, officers, and enforcers. Panic had already spread across their fleets. Entire systems were erased. Communication networks failed. Command centers disappeared. And yet, the leaders of the Council believed that they still had control, that somehow humans could be stopped. They were wrong. Ethan Carter stood on the bridge of the lead human cruiser, staring at the holographic map of the Council's command network. Every target had been marked, every fleet tracked, and every system ready for the final strike. The humans had moved silently across the galaxy, striking with precision, leaving no room for retaliation. Admiral Laura Pierce's voice broke the silence. "This is it. The Central Command. The heart of their power. When we strike, the galaxy will remember why humans are never to be underestimated." Ethan's hands hovered over the control panels. He felt a mix of fear, responsibility, and determination. This was not revenge for himself alone, but for every human who had been oppressed, for every colony under the Council's control, and for Lily. Her memory guided them all. Human stealth ships emerged from hidden positions around Velthar. They were invisible to sensors, undetectable to patrols, and perfectly coordinated by AI. No Council ship could see them. No fleet could stop them. They were ghosts in the stars. Ethan watched the first wave approach the central station. The AIs calculated every movement, every potential reaction, every failure point. They predicted Council panic with terrifying accuracy. As the human ships took their positions, the Council had no idea what was coming. On the command station, alien leaders shouted and argued. "Our defenses are failing." "How can this be?" One yelled, another growled. "They are everywhere. No, they cannot be. Humans are small. They cannot have this technology." Ethan's voice came over the fleet channels, calm and steady. "We are here. You attacked a child. You underestimated humanity. Now you will see the consequence." Pierce pressed the final command. "Execute Phase 5. Erase their command network. Leave nothing that can threaten humans again." The human fleets moved instantly. Ships fired not conventional weapons, but precise erasure pulses that targeted the Council's command nodes, energy grids, and control systems. Stations blinked, flickered, and vanished completely. Entire floors of command centers disappeared, leaving empty space where they had existed only moments before. Council fleets tried to respond, but human AIs anticipated every action. Patrols vanished before they could fire. Command ships disappeared mid-orbit. Systems that once coordinated thousands of alien vessels were gone. The galaxy was stunned. Ethan's heart pounded. They are blind. They cannot fight back. Every strike hits its mark. Pierce stood beside him. They will never underestimate humans again. Every move we make now is precise. No collateral harm to civilians. Only the enforcers, the command centers, and the fleets that caused harm are erased. On Velthar, alien leaders scrambled desperately. They attempted to flee, to send messages, to reorganize fleets. Every attempt was neutralized. Humans appeared where the Council did not expect, striking without warning, erasing control, erasing power, erasing arrogance. In one central tower, the main Council leader screamed into a dead communicator. Fleets vanished. Satellites failed, stations disappeared. The alien leader realized too late that humans had calculated every possible escape, every possible reaction. They were trapped in precision, invisible control, and inevitability. Ethan watched as the final systems disappeared. The central command of the Council was erased. Fleets that had ruled the stars for centuries vanished. Communication networks that had dominated countless worlds were gone. The Council had no power left. Humanity had struck with surgical precision, not for conquest, but for justice. Pierce turned to Ethan. "It is done. Humanity has shown the galaxy its strength. We did not destroy worlds unnecessarily. We erased only those that threatened us. We acted for the future, for our children, and for Lily." Ethan felt a deep weight lift from his shoulders. Years of planning, grief, and silent preparation had led to this moment. The Council that had humiliated humanity, that had killed a child, had been erased. The galaxy would remember. Across Council space, alien populations were stunned. Colonies that had relied on Council authority now operated in chaos. Trade routes collapsed, communication failed, and leaders fled. The galaxy was free from centuries of control. But every species had learned one lesson. Humans were patient, precise, and dangerous when underestimated. Ethan walked to the observation deck of the cruiser. The stars looked calm, beautiful, and endless. He thought of Lily and whispered, "We did it. You are remembered, Lily. Humanity will never forget." Pierce joined him, looking out at the galaxy. The Council underestimated us. They believed killing a human child would show strength. They were wrong. They will remember this for the rest of time, if anything survives to remember them at all. Human fleets began returning to hidden positions. The galaxy was quiet again, but now it was a quiet filled with fear and respect. Humans had not acted with cruelty or vengeance beyond what was necessary. They had struck with precision, ensuring that no child or innocent life would be harmed in future conflicts. Ethan looked at the holographic image of Lily in his mind. Her bright eyes, small hands, and curious smile guided every move. Humanity had acted not for pleasure, not for dominance, but for justice and survival. And in that act, the galaxy had learned the power of patience, planning, and precision. Across human space, celebrations were quiet but heartfelt. Engineers, scientists, and commanders shared a moment of relief. Humanity had survived centuries of oppression and had risen in a way the galaxy could not ignore. Children would grow up knowing that humans were to be respected, that injustice against the innocent would not be tolerated. Admiral Pierce addressed the fleet. "We have acted, and the galaxy has learned its lesson. Humans are not weak. Humans are not predictable. Humans are patient, precise, and strong. We will continue to protect ourselves, but today, humanity showed its true power." Ethan stood beside her, thinking of the Council leaders who had laughed at Lily, who had assumed that humans would remain silent. They were gone. Their arrogance had been their undoing. Humanity had erased the systems of oppression, leaving only lessons for the galaxy to remember. The stars over Velthar were calm once again. But the galaxy had changed forever. No species would underestimate humans again. Humanity had proven that courage, patience, and intelligence could overcome any power, any fleet, any threat. Ethan looked out at the stars one last time and whispered, "Rest now, Lily. Humanity will never be helpless again." Pierce nodded. "And the galaxy will remember that humans do not forgive easily. They plan, they wait, and when the moment is right, they strike with precision." Human fleets returned to Earth's hidden bases. AI systems continued monitoring the galaxy, ensuring that no Council remnants could rebuild. Humanity had erased the Council's power, but the humans had also shown restraint. This was not conquest. It was justice. Ethan walked through the corridors of the ship, feeling a mix of relief and sorrow. Humanity had avenged Lily. They had shown the galaxy their strength. And yet, the memory of loss remained, a reminder of why they had acted. Across the galaxy, alien species whispered of humans. They spoke of patience, precision, and the silent storm that had struck without warning. They spoke of the lesson that humans were never to be underestimated. And on Earth, humanity returned to daily life, stronger, wiser, and forever changed. Children played under bright skies, unaware of the danger their species had faced and the strength that now protected them. Humanity had survived, and the memory of Lily Carter lived in every act of courage, intelligence, and precision. Ethan Carter stood in his home, staring at the stars. He thought of Lily, of humanity, and of the galaxy. A single life had sparked a movement that changed everything. He whispered, "We did it, Lily. We showed them the true strength of humans. The galaxy will remember." Pierce's voice came softly over the communicator. "And the lesson is clear. Humans will not be humiliated. Humans will not be underestimated. Humanity survives. Humanity protects itself. And humanity remembers." Ethan smiled faintly, feeling the weight of the past months lift. Humanity had acted with precision, patience, and justice. The council was erased, and the galaxy had learned its first lesson: never underestimate humans. The stars shone quietly over Earth. The fleets rested. The AIs monitored. Humanity had survived. Humanity had risen. And the galaxy would remember for Lily, for justice, for the warning that humans never forgive easily, never forget, and never underestimate the power of survival.